What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, Banners with Peter Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, y'all. So, really busy day as got LSU softball at 11 a.m., baseball at 2, a track meet going on in Garth Brooks tonight. The day has finally come. Last night, how about it? Second and third round of the draft. A couple more Tigers heard their names called. 3, as a matter of fact. Ed Ingram goes in round 2. Dagnabbit. So Ed Ingram goes in round 2. And I feel really good for Ed Ingram to go in round 2. A guy that persevered through a lot during his LSU career. It was really cool. Really, really cool to see him get picked as high as he did. A guy who could have left last year, decided to come back, and now goes to Minnesota in the second round. Cordell Flott went in round 3 to the Giants. Arguably the best nickel corner in college football this past year. I think he will absolutely have a spot in a long NFL career. Really good third-round pick there by the Giants. And then one of the big surprises, how about Ty Davis-Price? Ty Davis-Price goes in round 3 to the 49ers. TDP was a guy that if you looked at pretty much any mock draft, he was a 7th round, to undrafted free agent type projection. But the 49ers very clearly liked him. And, talking to Hester, he talked about the offense that the Niners run with a lot of zone run schemes, fitting perfectly what Ty Davis-Price did so well in the second half of this year. Pretty meteoric rise if you think about it. First half of this past season, man, we were, first half of this past season, we were, everyone pretty much unanimously was calling for Corey Kiner. And they finally kind of found their rhythm of what worked really well for Ty Davis-Price. So great to see. So Stingley goes round 1, Ingram round 2, Flott and TDP in round 3. So it's 4 off the board already, which is really cool. Baseball Tigers got to win. We could talk about that game. 3 more homers in the ball game. 2-run shots from McManus and from Doty. Solo shot from Dylan Cruz. Nice piece of hitting with a sac fly from Stevenson after a sacrifice bunt, which I didn't like. They made McManus, after he had hit a 2-run homer, sac bunts his next time up with runners on first and second. Nobody out. Anyway. So all you got out of it was the 1 run on the sac fly, but nonetheless. Great. It was a really great job by Mikhail Hilliard. He did not have his best stuff, but when you don't have your best stuff and you manage to kind of persevere and bear down and get outs, it matters, man. So for Mikhail to throw 113 pitches through 6 innings was pretty remarkable. I think he threw about 30 pitches in the first inning alone. So. Good to see, Mikhail preserve the bullpen by getting through 6. So Tigers win game 1. They got to face Jonathan Cannon today. We've talked about him a ton. He's an ace. He's the best pitcher in the SEC this year, and it's going to be a really tough game to win. So I'm not sure if you get it today, but even if you don't, you put yourself in position with the win last night to win the series if you win one of the next 2. So, all right, let's say some good mornings. See what y'all got. Truax, what's good, man? Kelly Gross, Kirk Taylor, Quentin Brakebill. Good Garth Brooks morning. Ryan Amanda Gidry. Kirk, my puppy Frankie was barking at you and Terry while y'all were singing. Hey, bro. I don't know why Chester Boucher wanted to hear us sing, man. But an audience of one. Hey, Robert Anderson. Good morning. Good morning. Rode Yule. Good win. Boys really stung the ball last night. McManus has been a dude the last 2 weekends. I put this out on Twitter. I'll say it here. I put Malik Willis going in round 3. That's not what I put on Twitter, but isn't that crazy? Like, I mean, there was talk about him being the first quarterback taken, maybe going to Carolina in the top 10. And he goes in round 3. What an indictment on this draft, you know. Anyway, on the quarterbacks in this draft, I guess I should say. Corral went in round 3 to the Panthers. This is what I put on Twitter. Sorry. Darren James. For LSU right now, it's kind of a numbers game. If you're thinking about a regional host site, to feel comfortable, you need to get to 17 wins. To feel comfortable, you got to get to 17 conference wins. Well, you're at 11 now. You're at 11-8. So, to feel comfortable and get to 17 wins, you need 6 more. And going into last night, you needed 7, obviously. And to do that, you got to win the games you're supposed to win. And last night at home on Friday night with a pitching advantage with Hilliard on the bump, like that's one that you needed to win, and they did. So that's a sign, I think, of a good, consistent baseball team. Like it's winning the ones you're supposed to win in a series. So LSU's now sitting there at 11-8. You need to get 7 of your next 10. Or, I'm sorry, 7 of your next 12. So, 7 of your next 11. Sorry. Anyway. So, you're at 11-8. Let's say you lose today to Cannon. No harm, no foul. You come back and win on Sunday. That puts you at 12. All right? That puts you at 12. You got a road trip to Alabama. Can you win 2 there? If you can, that puts you at 14. You come home against Ole Miss, you win 2, that puts you at 16. You go to Vanderbilt, you win 1, that's 17. There you are. So you gotta find a way to, or if you flip the Bama and Vandy series, however it may go, but 17 to feel safe. 16 can get it done, but 17 to feel safe. So last night was big for that reason. Right. YouTube, smash that like button. Thanks for being there. Appreciate y'all watching. Hunter Fournette, what's up? Keaton Berry and Brian Pinton, good morning from Baltimore. Nice win last night. A lot of Tiger fans calling Baton Rouge. Yeah, if y'all haven't seen, go look up Garth's set list. So he's doing this stadium tour, right? He's just driving around playing stadiums. And he played up at Arkansas at Reynolds Razorback Stadiums, where Arkansas plays football. So a lot of people were wondering, is he going to play? This was April 23rd, so it was last Saturday. He played up in Arkansas last Saturday. So a lot of people wondering, is he going to play new stuff or whatever? So he played 28 songs. 28 songs. All day long, rodeo, 2 of a Kind working on a full house, Beaches of Cheyenne, 2 Pina Coladas, In Lonesome Dove, Fishing in the Dark, The River, Papa Loved Mama, Thunder Rolls, Unanswered Prayers, If Tomorrow Never Comes, that summer. Ain't going down till the sun comes up. Much too young to feel this damn old. Calling Baton Rouge. Shameless. He did Piano Man, Billy Joel cover. Said, You Never Call Me By My Name, Steve Goodman cover. He did American Pie, Don McLean cover. Friends in Low Places, and The Dance to wrap up the set. He came back for his encore and played Ireland, Cowboys and Angels, Make You Feel My Love, Bob Dylan cover. Shallow, the Lady Gaga Bradley Cooper cover. She's in Love with the Boy, Trisha Yearwood cover. I guess maybe Trisha Yearwood played with him, I don't know. And then Standing Outside the Fire. He did a 6-song encore, and he did a whole bunch of covers. Like, you know every song that he played. So I don't think, I think Terrio was asking, like, is he going to play his new stuff? I'm like, I don't think if you're Garth Brooks, you do this giant stadium tour where you're going to put 100,000 people in there, get everybody super pumped up to come out and play stuff nobody's ever heard. So, and he's going to play a long time tonight, too. I mean, the show starts at 7. They said they have a special opening guest. And then alcohol sales cut off at 10:30. So that goes to show you, like, they're not planning on being out of there until at least 11. I mean, if you're going to cut off alcohol sales at 10:30, 11 or 11:30, I mean, it's going to be a long night in Tiger Stadium. Let's see, Keaton, LSU bout to 21 Georgia, might 30 them? What you mean? Randall Offrecht. Morning, Matt. Did you get your boots and cowboy hat yet? I did not. But when we started the show, I had a text message drop down on my phone from Terrio, which might be about like Bear Creek Western Store or something. Which Erica did look up last night, but apparently that's like in a meet, and I'm not driving to a meet. Morning, Matt. Oh, sorry. Larry Garner. Good morning, Pat Huseman, Hunter Fournette. Happy for Ingram, Flott, and TDP. Jesse Brown, sell me on the Saints' second-round pick. Was it a reach? So it was very clear they took 2 offensive players in round 1. They were looking for either best player or best defensive player available on their board. They took Alontae Taylor out of Tennessee, who has really good speed and is long. Can also play safety. I got to meet Alontae Taylor at Media Days. So Alontae Taylor and Velus Jones were the 2 players Tennessee brought to Media Days last year. Very impressive guy. Like, I think he's the kind of guy fans will really rally around. Long corner. They say the shortcoming is maybe not quite as flexible with the rotation in his hips to be able to like backpedal and turn and run. So maybe he's more of a safety, and that would make sense. If you're the Saints and you're looking to play him at safety, you need a safety. That may be the guy. The safety from Penn State went off the board 1 pick before New Orleans. And Jalen Petrie went early round 2. So I know the Saints love Jalen Petrie, but he was off the board. And Brister from Jaquan Brister from Penn State came off the board 1 pick before the Saints. So they went defense, and maybe with the best player at biggest position need they had there. So I'm cool with it. Wendell Norman, Samuel Smith, you see Zion's response to signing the extension this summer. Willie Green seems like a home run so far. Props to Griff. I did, Samuel, but I would like to add this context, okay? Zion's eligible for a max extension somewhere in the neighborhood of $180 to $220 million, okay? Of course he's going to be excited to sign that extension. That's the point like I've been making forever. People are like, oh, Zion's going to leave. No, he's not, because the Pels can offer him a max deal because they drafted it. Like, that's the way the contracts are structured. Of course he's going to sign an extension with New Orleans. Now, the question is, does he Anthony Davis the thing where he signs the extension and then wants out later? Maybe. I hope not. I mean, I think there is way more excitement around the franchise right now and the future of it, and, this young core. The rookies are playing so well. You're going to get Zion back next year, and then you're going to add a top 10 pick. I mean, there's a lot of reason to be very optimistic. Trivia Carter, good morning. Keaton Berry and Clark was clearly better than Dean. I hate what happened to him. He should have been a second-round pick. Yeah, that was weird, man, to see Nakobe Dean drop the way he did. But it's not even about that, about if Clark was better than Dean or anything like that. I think Nakobe Dean might be the better pro prospect, but Clark had a better season, is kind of the way to put it. And that happens sometimes. But hey, Mets threw the no-hitter. They threw it. No. Anyway, something's up with that with Nakobe Dean. I don't know if he failed a medical or if he failed a medical or if there was some off the field stuff that maybe we'll find out in time. I don't know, but something happened there. It was a combined no-hitter. Whatever. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Eric Wildrider, morning Scone. In a vacuum, I love the picks, but it's hard for me to stomach effectively giving up 6 picks for Olave when lack of depth absolutely killed us last year. I don't understand how you're saying you gave up 6 picks for Olave. You gave up 2. You gave up a 3 and a 4. I mean, I don't get why you're saying you effectively gave up 6 picks for Olave. Because are you talking about like because what it took to acquire the Eagles pick? I mean, it's not exactly true because you took 2 first-rounders because you're still going to have basically the first-round pick that would have been next year. So you gave up those picks for Olave and Trevor Penning. And I disagree with you on lack of depth. Your depth is why you still were, a game away from the playoffs. And if not for friggin' COVID, and having a practice squad team essentially out there against Miami on Monday Night Football, you would have made the playoffs. So, I mean, no team is going to lose as many starters as the Saints did and not miss a beat. I mean, they played 56 different starters last year, something like that, and they still went 8-9. I mean, 9-8, 9-8, 9-8. They need one more win. Anyway. Brown Bear 765. Another draft, another year of Saints not picking player from Nickel State. I'm starting to think they don't like Louisiana players. Well done. Got into it with someone yesterday on Twitter again. Hunt tweeted something about like a Tennessee pipeline because of Shy Tuttle and Marquez Callaway and Alontae Taylor. And this guy, someone replied like sarcastically, now hear me out. Now what if they start a pipeline from school right up the road? Like, if you honestly think, I mean, I can't believe every year we have to have this conversation, but if you honestly believe that the New Orleans Saints are just ignoring LSU and refuse to draft LSU players, you're just high. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Like, you don't know what their draft board looks like and what their needs are. I mean, it's like all people say, the examples I hear all the time, well, they could have drafted Patrick Queen. Yeah, they could have drafted Patrick Queen, but they also, a day after the draft, were releasing Larry Warford and needed it as a cap saving move and needed an interior lineman, which is why they picked Ruiz, who they expected to be a center and then kick McCoy to guard, but McCoy was so good at guard they left him there, or at center. They left him at center. So you don't know what they felt their biggest need was. And by the way, it worked out at linebacker because you ended up with Quan Alexander and Demario Davis, which was a pretty good tandem there. Anyway. Just so stupid. They could have drafted Jarvis Landry. And they took Brandon Cooks in round 1. You take a receiver in round 1 and round 2? Like Sean Payton loved Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill was the number 1 running back on their board, and they were going to take Jeremy Hill in round 2, but the Bengals took him before they could draft. Happens sometimes. Like, you don't know what their need is and what their board looks like. And they could always go make offers to guys in undrafted free agency, but what if a team's offering more? The player has to pick you. So like you mentioned, Callaway and Shy Tuttle, those guys were undrafted free agents. And they picked New Orleans because it was favorable situations for them. Anyway. That's a key. Emery and Goodwin need to be the 1 and 2 RBs. Haven't seen Noah Cain yet. I think he'll play a role. Thomas Lamont, what if Dugas comes back? Do you think he takes over left field full time again, or Stevenson earned a shared role there? Yeah, you got to. I mean, look, if you were watching last night, if you watched the baseball game last night, how many plays did Andrew Stevenson make with his back to the infield? It's incredible. Like, on the run toward the wall, I mean, he must have made at least 3 running catches with his back to the infield. I mean, his range and his glove and left are a huge asset. I mean, I was thinking it last night. I mean, there were probably 2 or 3 balls last night that were hit that if Dugas is in left, those are doubles. But Stevenson has that range where he can make up ground. So he can play a little shallow to catch the short fly balls, but he can make up ground going back because he's got great speed and range. So, I mean, it's a long way answering your question, but defensively, I really want Stevenson in left. And he's a good left-handed batter. I mean, he's the only starter who didn't have a base hit last night, but he did have the sac fly. Which, again, that's a productive at-bat from a freshman. When you got a runner on third and less than 2 outs, and your job is to put the ball in the air, the outfield, to get that run home, he did it. So, I'm not saying that Dugas doesn't have a role. Maybe it's a lefty-righty DH thing with Joe Bear. Maybe if you like certain matchups with Dugas' bat, you put him in left field. I don't know, but I'd hate to see anybody lose a job to injury, but Stevenson has earned playing time. Or maybe it's a deal where Dugas starts, and if you get a lead, then you put Stevenson in for defensive purposes. But it's a good problem to have. Hunter Fournette, side note, Joe Bear scorching the ball, and Stevenson had 2 that missed Scone yard by about 7 feet. Joe Bear, I know we've talked about this a bunch. He is by far the guy who has been most affected by shift and different things like that. He has absolutely pummeled the baseball this year and had more bad luck. So, anyway, just keep swinging. Let's see. Hey, Dad, good morning. John Morris. I need a parking pass for Garth Brooks, don't we all? David Furr, good morning. What do you think about Taylor round 2? Talked about that a little bit. Kyle DeVille, do you think the Saints draft a kicker? No. They got Will Lutz coming back from injury. They're fine. Brian Broom, Greg Phillips, Sam Denton. Why has Damone Clark not been selected? Damone Clark had done neck surgery. So I tell you all the time, man, the part about the combine that's the most important. It's the interview and the medical. And they found he had a neck issue, and he ended up having neck surgery. So he'll probably get drafted at some point today, but I wouldn't be surprised if teams have just taken him completely off their board. I mean, I remember I had this conversation with Derry Beckwith when he was coming out. Derry was a projected 3rd-round pick, and goes to the combine, and he had knee surgery, and teams just didn't pass him on the medical, and so he went undrafted. Went to the Chargers, and his knees kind of broke down on him, and just played a couple of years, and that was it. I hope that's not the case for Damone. I hope he plays a long, productive career. But if you're a team drafting, you got to realize, man, this guy's having neck surgery. So, Chance Babin, glad to see 4 LSU players picked in the first 3 rounds, despite the dysfunction of the last 2 seasons. But what it goes to show you, Chance, is it illustrates the dysfunction. When you had as much talent as you did, and you still ended up as bad as you were, your coach was a joke. That's why. Do you think Milazzo unseats McManus with him swinging such a hot bat right now? David, this is the same conversation that we had when Travinsky hit 2 homers or whatever it was against Florida. And I said at the time, I said it then, I'm going to say it to you now. First of all, when's Milazzo coming back? At this point, I think it's fair to ask, is he coming back this year? It's fair to ask that question. So I don't know. But I asked the question when Travinsky was swinging a hot bat against Florida. Go back and look it up. Or look on Twitter. What happens when he has an 0 for 12 weekend with 6 strikeouts? Which happened. I believe it was the Arkansas weekend. Are you still fired up about a guy, with all the pass balls, inability to control the running game? Do you realize last night in that ball game, and you're right, McManus hit a 2-run homer. He clearly, we knew that coming in, that he was a guy that was a double-digit home run threat on this team. But last night, there was a called strike on a ball that went to the backstop. Not a swinging strike, a called strike. The ball hit McManus's mitt, hit the umpire, and went to the backstop. It was a called strike. A ball over the plate. Your job is described in the position title. Catcher. Catch the ball. Like, I mean, hang on one second. Sorry, my eyes were drying out. I could put drops in. So I guess my point is, I'm not saying that McManus or Travinski have no role on the team. Like, maybe it's a situation in a weekend where if you believe it's going to be a higher scoring game, you put McManus in the lineup that day because you want an extra bat. If it's a game where you think, it's a Friday night game, you think it might be low scoring, Milazzo's in there because you want the better defensive option to control the running game, might save you a run here, whatever it may be. Like, you have options, and both guys can play, but the notion that you're sticking with Travinski or McManus because right now they're swinging a hot bat is flawed because you've already seen it with Travinski. That's why I say, give me the glove 56 times when I know every time out I'm getting an elite defensive player at a premium defensive position. Like, it's why Jay Johnson keeps telling you that Milazzo's his guy. Like, y'all keep coming at me about it. Listen to the darn head coach. He's telling you where the value is. I don't know why so many of y'all can't see past that. It's mind-boggling. I think it's because fans just think offense. Like, you think defense is a given and offense is just, is what you need. But with this team, you've got so much offense. Look, we're talking about what do we do with Gavin Dugas, the guy who led the team in homers and led the SEC in RBI last season when he comes back. Well, does he actually have a spot? I mean, like, that's how deep this team is offensively. So, anyway. Isaiah Spiller's still on the board. I'd love it if the Saints pick 10, but he ain't going to be around when the Saints pick again. All right. Kenny Bergeron, does Ole Miss make a regional? If not, does Bianco get fired? Kenny, I do think this is going to be, and by the way, I don't have any, knowledge of the inner workings at Ole Miss. I just talked to a lot of people who cover Ole Miss and who cover college baseball nationally, and it feels pretty much understood like this will be Bianco's last year at Ole Miss. Barring some really drastic turnaround, I think it could be it. Scotty Mack, what's good, man? Let's see, watch about 30 minutes of the draft coverage. Get your take on the biggest surprises you saw, Saints or otherwise. Be blessed. Thank you, Scotty Mack. Nakobe Dean falling into round 3 was very surprising. Butkus Award winner. Some had him projected as a first-round pick. So to fall in round 3, same with Malik Willis. That's always the most surprising, I think, is the guys who we think are going to go high that end up falling. The biggest LSU surprise, Flott went where I thought he would. Ed Ingram going second round, I thought that was high, but is worthy. And TDP in round 3, he was a projected round 7 or undrafted free agent type guy. So for him to go in round 3 is phenomenal. Congrats to him. That earns you so much job security because when you are selected that high, a team has attached an asset with you by using a high draft pick. They're going to give you time, to make the team. The outlier with stuff like that is Stanley Jean-Baptiste with the Saints, who in year 2 was cut. Antonio Pittman was a 4th-round pick. They cut him because Pierre Thomas beat him out, in camp that year. It happens, but it's rare. It's 2 in the last 20 years that we pointed out, right? John Morris, not in the country, but the wife wants to go. Same, John. Now, I'll tell you this. I know all the Garth Brooks songs just because in the 90s when he was, winning awards, I was high school, college, and he was just everywhere. So, I know them all. So and he's a great performer is the thing. So I'll really enjoy the show, I'm sure. But we're going tonight because Erica really wanted to go. So, what else, you guys, do you think come off the board today? all the ones that have been picked are the ones that I was pretty certain would be. I would love to see Cade York get picked, but there's never a guarantee with a kicker. I'm hopeful for guys like Chasen Hines and Glenn Logan. You know, but Hines had a little bit of an up and down career, and Logan had a lot of injuries. And then, of course, Damone Clark, but kind of talked about him already. It's just a matter of what do teams think with the injury. Y'all, smash that like button. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. You know something we haven't done in a while here is we haven't hustled in a while.
Hudco Roofing, Hudco Roofing. When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone, Ontario.
All you need is Hudco.
Hudco Roofing, Hudco Roofing. Call Hudco Roofing.
364.
1007. Roofing, Hudco Roofing, Hudco Roofing.
All right, y'all. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Scott Shirley. My wife and I enjoyed the video of you and the champ going to the office. He loves T-Bob. Really cool of you to give the viewers such access. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, so when we go on Saturdays to... so every Saturday, Drew and I, like after I do morning scone, I get him up, get him changed, and we go for a car ride. He loves elevators, so we go up to Guarantee. We take a long ride. We go up to Guarantee, and he rides the elevators. Well, if y'all haven't seen it, you can follow me on Instagram. I put it on my story. There's these papers taped in the elevator, and it's like the Guarantee Podcast Network. And there's a picture of T-Bob on one of them. So Drew walks and he goes, T-Bob. He always elongates the T. He's like, T-Bob. So, yeah. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it, man. Let's see. Keaton Berry and Stevenson was lights out in the outfield. He's only a freshman. He's a stud. I said it before that he's better as a freshman than Andrew was. It's not to say that he'll be a better player than Andrew is now or whatever, or became, but Josh Stevenson is better as a freshman than Andrew was. Let's see. Georgia had, as of last night, the 4th RPI in the series would be big time. Yeah, I mean, getting this win is massive. I mean, it's why, I'm not trying to recycle these old arguments or debates, but it's why I always, there's so many of y'all who have said, oh, the pre-conference schedule sucked or losing midweek games. Yeah, the pre-conference schedule did suck. It was embarrassingly bad. You had a new coach taking over, trying to throw together a schedule as best he could late in the process, and you lose midweek games. You never want to do that. But LSU's RPI. Let's see. Updated RPI at Warren Nolan has LSU 17. I mean, no, that's the change. Okay. I mean, 17. And Georgia is 4. So, you know what I mean? So, I don't know if the NCAA site is updated today yet. Let me check. No, that's through April 28th, so it's not updated yet. But Georgia was 4 and LSU was 21, so that's not updated. Anyway, but point being, yes, despite all that, you're still a top 20 RPI team, and you have a chance to win a series against the top 5 RPI team. Keaton Berry and big win coming today. Hope so. Does Otter have a bet placed on how many times Colin Baton Rouge played? I've never been to a concert where an artist played a song more than once, so I don't believe they're going to play Colin Baton Rouge more than once, but he's going to play it for sure. Tim Gotro, D. Speaking of Baltimore, they clearly have no plans on surrounding Lamar Jackson with talented wide receivers. Wait, sorry, I lost my spot. Hang on. Gosh dog it. Sorry. No, wait, Keaton. So, I know they sent Hollywood Brown to Arizona, which, I mean, good on them, right? I mean, Arizona reunites Kyler Murray with Hollywood Brown. I mean, they were obviously awesome together at Oklahoma. Kind of the same feeling maybe of Joe and Jamar. I think that's really cool. So they sent him for a first-round pick, which they used on Kyle Hamilton, right? I would assume that's the first-round pick they made. Anyway, I don't know the Ravens roster well enough, sorry. Brian Russell, morning Matt, what's your take on the new cornerback? How does he affect the safety search? Yeah, I mean, I think that's got to be the plan, right? Is they're going to play him at safety. And as we learned last year, you can never have too many corners. I really like Lattimore and Adebo outside. Remember, you've also got brain fart from the Texans. Why am I? Dang it. Roby, golly, why did my brain not work? Bradley Roby. So you got Bradley Roby who can play inside or out. And yes, I do think that Alontae Taylor probably fits in at safety. Could even be your dime back, like PJ, maybe an heir apparent there. I still think if they want a safety, they could still go sign Tyron and likely will, depending on what the market looks like after today. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Tyron ends up a Saint still. Greg T, I'm not a gigantic Garth fan, but you naming his set list of 28 songs and I knew every one just tells you how good the dude is. It's true. Bailey C, do you think Les Miles is remembered worse than he deserves? You'd have to elaborate a little there, Bailey C, on what you mean. Jeff Owens, the GOAT, morning Matt. Can't seem to find Old Elk at Total Wine. Perhaps you have an extra bottle. I mean, I always encourage you to support local retailers. They all have it. Cody Boudreau, good morning. Troy Abear. Matt, who's the deep voice guy that leads AFR out of breaks? Guy's name is Brian. We call him BC. It's Brian something with a C. He's the voice guy who images all of our stuff. He's the same voice guy that images Eagle 98.1. Nolan Hamilton Jr. Matt, will Honey Badger be a Saint? I think so. Trivia, I really don't care about NBA, but do you think the Pels go after Smith from Auburn? No, Jabari Smith is going to be the first or second player taken in the draft. So if the Pels get him, it would be because they win the draft lottery, and I don't think they will. It would be awesome if they do, but unlikely that they do. Tom Milliken, I read an article about Nakobe Dean last night. Said he fell because teams are concerned about pectoral strain. He has injury issues plus his size. That would make sense. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that would make more sense. Dave Vinder, agree with Hunter. Joe Bear reversed the laces on 3 balls, had nothing to show for it. He's done that a lot this year. Cody Boudreau, not picking from Nicholls State. He was joking. Travis Daisy, Saints picked up 3 quality players. I agree. Let's get 3 more today. Hunter Fournette, I think one thing that was, or 2 more, it was encouraging last night was Barry charged the ball instead of forcing a throw, held it instead of forcing a throw. Barry, I think, has actually been very good this year charging the baseball. He's made some really nice plays and throws on the run when charging, when moving toward home. His issue has been when there have been hard hit balls at him. That's been his issue this year. Thompson had another throwing error last night. Did a great job to pick it, had tons of time to set his feet and make a throw, but instead he tried to make this off-balance throw and he threw it away. It's Russian. Let's see. Greg T, nice to see game point athlete Matt Corral drafted day 2. Hate to see him go to Carolina. I agree with that. Strong side, good morning. Old smoky salted caramel whiskey got me last night, woo. I don't like the flavored stuff, but to each their own. Keaton Berry and Thompson's haircut is going to spark his improvement. I expect him to make some good infield plays today. Didn't help him last night. Brian Russell, day 3 running back, defensive line, safety, tight end. What do you think? So I would love it if they get a running back. Now remember, the Saints will pick. They don't have a 4th round pick, so they have a 5 and a 6. I think running back is a need. I don't think Kyron Williams has been picked yet from Notre Dame, and that's a running back that I really liked a lot. Kyron Williams hasn't been picked yet. If he's on the board, I think he fits the Saints beautifully. Sure, you could absolutely use tight end. They need defensive line help as well. So with their round 5 pick, I'd go running back or defensive tackle. I think those would be the 2 spots where I'd be looking if you want one on either side of the ball. Dave Endur, don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, if you would. 97 watching there, 45 likes. If you take a quick second, smash the like button on YouTube and Facebook if you would like the page, share the post. Reagan, unless you share, feels weird, almost awkward. There wasn't a run on quarterback. I know. I think you get that run today. You did have Matt Corral and Malik Willis come off the board in round 3 yesterday, but all the guys, Carson Strong, Bailey Zappi, the other quarterbacks that are lingering out there, that run probably comes on them today. Who dat talking? I don't like the Saints taking a role player playing special teams with the 49th pick. I don't think that's what they took there. What's your take on A.J. Brown? Do you think he was a player-driven, or was it the Titans washing their hands? I think the Titans weren't interested in paying a receiver $100 million. They had their number, All right. A.J. Brown. Well, A.J. Brown said he would have taken 22. He got 25 a year on his new deal in Philly. He said he would have taken 22. Said the Titans didn't even offer him 20. So the Titans just didn't want to pay a receiver $100 million. Okay. Reagan, let's just share. If you ever look into OPS for catchers, it's almost an irrelevant stat. Jorge Posada didn't hit above 260 until the mid-2000s. His Gold Glove and commanding the battery was solid for 3 World Series, though. Bingo. One example of many, but yes. Jonathan, 88808, what's up? Hudco Jingle, yes, sir. Patrick P., there's a boot barn on Segan Marketplace if you trying to get country. That's what Terrio suggested was going to Boot Barn. I just am really not interested in spending money for an outfit that I'll wear tonight and never again. All right. Jump back here to Facebook. Stephen Fry, I'd rather take Raiselman's 4-seamer off my calf than deal with Baton Rouge traffic this afternoon. Patrick Kason, what's up? Shelby, Kelly, chance the Saints go tight end. They could. They need a tight end for sure. But they have enough needs right now where I think you take the best available in rounds 5 and 6. Back then, we thought Stanley G. Baptiste was going to be a stud when the Saints drafted him. Of course, I mean, you took a giant cornerback in round 2. You think he's going to be a dude, and he just stunk. Ryan, Amanda Gidrick, jingle on par like always. Greg Duga, been to a plethora of concerts of all genres. Garth is single-handedly the best entertainment-wise. Not even close, although Run DMC was pretty good. Okay. We'll let you know after tonight. Thoughts? I would say from an entertainment standpoint, for me, Inside the Park Homer, cool. I'd probably go Aerosmith. Aerosmith was sensational. Saw him in 2001 and then again in 03 or 04 in Lafayette. 01 in New Orleans and like 03 or 04 Lafayette. They were awesome. Carlton Cisco, Eagles, Texans, Lions have crushed it so far in the draft. I like what the Saints have done. You were spot on with Cordell Flott prediction. The Jets have done well also, seemingly. Could be curious to see how they screw it up. Rodeo D1 as of this morning, Georgia 4, LSU 16. Kevin Bant, morning Matt, let's get the series win today. I would love to see it, man. If you get the series win today, I think you sweep tomorrow. I just think beating Jonathan Cannon is going to be a very big ask. One thing that could potentially play in LSU's favor is how deep do they let Jonathan Cannon go in this ball game. As he was coming off of the injury last week, they had him on a pitch count, and so he threw 66 pitches, but he was perfect through 5 against Bama. I mean, that's something. So he missed 2 weeks. Let's see, his one outlier was he allowed 6 runs against Georgia Tech. That was in the 3rd week of the season. Allowed 1 run to Lipscomb. 8 innings against Mississippi State, 9 strikeouts, no runs on 3 hits. Against Kentucky, he went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, struck out 6. Against Florida, 6 innings, no runs, just 3 strikeouts, 5 hits. And then he blanked Bama. It was perfect against him. Struck out 6 in 5 innings. No runs, no hits, no walks. Let's see. I mean, if you can get him out of the game after 6, I'd feel like that's a win today. Not winning the game. I mean, just that's the objective. Get him out of the game through 6, and I think you'd have a shot. Well, let's see. Craig bringing back the ping pong drop to give the Pels luck to win the lottery. I like it. But, the ping pong balls were during the season where, we were pulling for them to lose so they would get more ping pong balls. Carl and Cisco, Kyron Williams, excellent blitz pickup, pass catching. Would love to see the Saints get this highly productive running back. He's the guy that I like the most, I think, for the Saints. Because not only is he a really shifty runner, but he is a receiver out of the backfield. Like, he's very, very good in the pass-catching game, which the Saints have always utilized. Ray Sutherland, Kenneth Westbrook, good morning. Y'all smash that like button. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Appreciate y'all. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing. So hear it every day, man. Every day. People saying they've had the insurance adjuster to their house. Some have even gotten your scope of work or your check from your insurance company. You're just not sure to do next. Not sure what to do next. Give us a call. Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. 82 Atlantic. What do you think of USC tampering with Jordan Addison of Pitt to get him to transfer? I don't know. So that's the guy who won the Biletnikoff as the best receiver. Apparently he's leaving Pitt to go to USC. I don't know if they tampered. I don't know. I saw that he was likely to enter the portal and go to USC. So the logical thought is, so has USC already been talking to players under scholarship, or not? Maybe, which happens. I don't know. If they did, they should be punished. What happened to Georgia's ace? He throws today, Troy. Jonathan can't. So he was their Friday night guy, and then he was injured, so last week was his first week back, and he pitched game 2, and so I guess they're just keeping him on normal rest and letting him throw game 2 in this series also. Joseph Fallsgraf, thanks, Scone. Now I'm going to be singing the jingle all day at work. Yes, and tell all of your coworkers that if they need a roof, to call Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing. It's 9:54. Keaton Berrien, Morgan looks uncomfortable running. It's because he's got a strained PCL and he's been dealing with it all year, and he's got a brace on his leg. Brian Russell, Ultimate Warrior. D. Brian Christensen. That's it, BC, Brian Christensen. Ruben Delary, do you think Christopher Allen translates to the NFL? I'd like him and Damone in the 5th and 6th. Yeah. Christian Harris, too. Did Christian Harris get picked yesterday? Yeah, he was taken in the 3rd round by Houston. Reagan Leicester, I watched Thompson in high school when I was stationed in California. Dude is good, but this is a legit case of the yips. I feel like 2023 is year to clear the yips up. Yeah, I mean, he's tried everything, right? I mean, he shaved his mustache, now he's cut his hair. It's just in his head. He was a very good player last year. I mean, if you remember last year, they didn't have an answer at shortstop, and he kind of emerged and made some amazing plays at short. And I think proved he could be an SEC shortstop. But the problem they've had is I think it's in his head now. That's a bad thing to be if you're a middle infielder. Justin Lucas, Matt, what do you think the Saints do on day 3 of the draft? Well, they got 2 picks, so I'm sorry, I'm watching like UFC highlights. UFC Fight Night 100, cool. Anyway, I think running back, defensive tackle would be my 2 needs, biggest needs today. D, I saw Aerosmith in 012, the Just Push Play tour. Just Push Play, and then the next one was Honkin' on Bobo, if I'm not mistaken. Or was Just Push Play the Honkin' on Bobo album? Might be confusing. Okay, so Honkin' on Bobo was 04. So Just Push Play was 01, Honkin' on Bobo was 04. So I saw Just Push Play 01 in New Orleans, and I saw Honkin' on Bobo 04 in Lafayette. Both were great shows. Hunter Fournette, got to have money, pitch solid, extend at-bats against Cannon, shell the bullpen. That's a good plan. Money's due for a big day. Maybe, or maybe not. I don't like to say you're due. I think the larger the sample size grows, the more you realize you kind of are what you are. And Money was really good in the pre-conference and has not been really as good in conference play. So, I mean, we've kind of seen it these past few weeks. When he kind of sniffs trouble, Jay Johnson goes and hands the ball to the next guy. So I don't think he's going to have a super long leash today. Let's see what's up with the Miami basketball player saying he'll transfer unless he gets a better NIL deal. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. He's going to transfer unless he gets a better NIL deal. I mean, that one's pretty easy answer, Dave. The Miami, the guy who, the marketing agent who was talking about that has said he's negotiated, deals for $800K, so, I mean, he's looking at it and thinks his guy can get more and try to get him more. See if he does. Not someone else will. Brandon, for some reason, I'm not getting notified when you go live anymore. Maybe try to like unsubscribe, resubscribe, and hit the bell. Maybe like undo it, then redo it. Perhaps. Just a guess. But glad you're here. All right, y'all. We're just about done. Facebook. Please like the Matt Moscone YouTube or Facebook page. Please share the post. Hey, Kenneth Westbrook. Mark, good morning. Traffic's already bad going to Tiger Stadium. It's only 10 a.m. I believe it's like a game day, man. People are going to spend all day out there. Yeah, I am going to Chili Peppers tomorrow. It's going to be a busy weekend. Going to Garth today. I'm going to Chili Peppers tomorrow. Jazz Fest. Looking forward to that. Okay, y'all. I think we're just about done. Thank you so much for watching. As always, appreciate y'all. Shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, y'all. Have a great day. We'll see ya. Peace.